Hello again. Today's segment, we're going to do a short series of moves in a seated position. This is nice because you can do some of these in bed before you get up for the day, or you can do them in any time you're in a seated position, in a chair, or if you like to sit on the floor, that's good too. Usually I do these moves sitting on the floor, but I always usually have a bolster of some sort to sit on just to get my pelvis in a better position so I'm not creating a lot of tension in my back. I'm going to show you these moves though on this handy piece of furniture I found, which is a footrest from an IKEA chair. I like it because it's flat, it's low, it doesn't squish, and it's slightly angled so it keeps my upper body in a more aligned position if I'm doing moves like this. So for yourself, find wherever is comfortable for you to sit. If you can sit on the floor with your legs straight out, great. If not, that's okay too. Just find a comfortable, flat, non-squishy surface to sit on, and we will begin. So I'm going to come up onto my chair, making sure that my sit bones, which are the bony parts of my pelvis, are in contact with the chair as opposed to sitting on, with the pelvis rolled under. So I'm sitting on my sacrum because that curves the low back. We want the back to be nice and relatively straight and the upper body in alignment with the pelvis. And I'm going to begin with, you can't see my feet, but I'm crossing one ankle over the other. And the further out you put your feet, the more you're going to get movement into the hips. This is the first move we're going to do. It's just opening up in through the hip joints. So I'm crossing one foot over my other, like that. Sit bones are in contact with the chair, and I'm just going to start leaning my pelvis forward. And it's a distinct difference from rounding the back. I'm leaning the whole pelvis forward, so I'm almost lifting my tailbone up off the chair. And you can feel the difference between doing that with your feet further out from you, or if you bring them in. It's not much happening here. The straighter the legs are, the more you'll feel a little bit of a pull inside the inner legs, which is what we're after. Nothing major, nothing too rigorous, just encouraging the hips to open, and a little side to side. Again, you can rock, and your whole side of your pelvis might come off the chair, but if you can keep it planted there and you're just kind of moving through the waist side to side, in either case you're bound to find something that's talking to you a little, which is fine, as long as it's not screaming. All right, and now I'm going to keep, keeping my pelvis stabilized because I'm sitting. I'm just turning the rib cage side to side, moving with the abdominal muscles, moving the rib cage from one side to the other. Just challenging a little bit of this tension that builds up in the middle of the back. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, last one. And now coming back to center, I'm going to switch the feet. So before I was like this, now I'm like this. It's going to create a little bit of different range of motion in the legs, and it'll feel a little awkward because usually when we sit in any position, we always go to our tried and true configuration. So we're going to mix that up a little bit. And again, just extending, folding into the hips. If you're sitting on the floor cross-legged, you would really be feeling this probably a little bit more dramatically. And then side to side. Pulling in through those oblique muscles on the side and the QLs in the back. I just like to throw around terms just to sound like I know what I'm talking about. All right, turning side to side. I do know what I'm talking about. I'm kidding. Okay. Now one more to the side. Come back to center. And now whichever way you want to have your legs, for the first one, you can have them crossed, you can have them just straight out, whatever you want. But again, making sure that your pelvis is in alignment with whatever it is you're sitting on. I'm going to bring the hands behind the head, at the base of the skull. Breathing in, I'm going to keep the chin tucked in slightly. Breathing in, I'm going to push the back of my head up and into my hands, and I'm resisting with my hands so my head's not going all the way back. It's like I was trying to do this, but I'm pushing back in the other direction with my hands. I'm creating like isometric tension in the back of my neck. So breathing in, we're going to do that. Push, and then as you exhale, tuck the chin under, and not forcing, but just letting your neck drop. Gentle stretch with the back of the hands. Breathing in, coming back, pushing into the hands. Breathing out, tuck the chin, roll the head. Each time you do this, you'll feel that stretch go a little bit further down into the spine. Breathing in, breathing out. And if you do this first thing in the morning, you're gonna definitely notice it. Things tend to be a little bit tighter when we first wake up. Let's do this a couple more times. Breathe in, breathe out. Roll the head down. Letting those muscles on either side of the spine stretch slightly. Last time, breathe in and breathe out. Just a little extra opening there. This is a nice one to do if you've been in a slightly head forward position for a long period of time, or even when you've been driving. And I don't suggest doing the whole thing when you're driving a lot, but just pushing your head back into the headrest can be enough sometimes to release some of that tension that builds up in the back of the neck. Okay, so for this one, we definitely want our legs out in front if you can, making sure that you're stabilized and you're not going to fall off your chair. We're going to do a rowing motion, and this one's really nice for opening up backs of the legs all the way up into the low back and the upper back and into the shoulders. So we're going to do this with the breathing. So I'm going to start with the inhale, rolling up, a little bit of curve in the spine, rolling down, rounding the back, coming as far as you can toward the toes, drawing up so the arms and shoulders are making a nice big circle. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. We'll continue this about 5 more times, breathing in, breathing out, nice and gentle. Again, easy one to do in bed when you first get up. I've lost count. I'm going to do 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Make sure that you bring your shoulders down out of your ears after you come up. So the shoulders come up, and as we go forward, make sure your shoulders come back down. All right, I know that was 2. Let's do 1 more. Just because it feels nice. And we're going to come all the way around, breathing in, and we're going to reverse direction. Since we paddled out to the middle of the lake, we got to come back. So scooping down, drawing up. It's a nice little engagement of the abdominal muscles here as well. Inhales, we're pulling back. Exhales, we're pushing forward. Drawing up. Drawing forward. Last one, pushing down. All the way back, and a graceful exit. Relax the arms. Okay, the last one incorporates both of those moves in a sense, a little bit of isometric and then a little bit of rolling forward. So this one has a couple different parts. With the first one, we're breathing in, and as you're pushing up with the arms, you're also imagining pushing down through your sit bones into the chair. And we're pushing up, extending up through the spine, through the arms. while simultaneously pushing down through the pelvis. Bring the hands to the top of the head, sitting up straight through the spine, pushing down with the hands, kind of like you're squishing your head into your neck. Only you're not letting your neck compress, you're pushing back opposingly with your head. And then we're going to release, fold forward as far as you can that's comfortable, stretching through the backs of the legs, rolling up, and releasing. So it's an inhale, exhale, inhale, push down, push up, exhale, roll forward, inhale, draw up, and exhale. Let's do that a few more times. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Two more. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Last one. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out. Stretch forward, curl up, and relax. We always want to take a moment or two just to let that movement sort of integrate, let it sink in, notice how you feel. Whenever you bring your conscious awareness to whatever it is you just did, it tends to kind of lock it in a little bit more. Sometimes you don't feel better. Sometimes you might notice, ooh, now something's tweaky or tighter than it was. And just notice that too. If it's, obviously it's an issue, please call me. But otherwise, you might want to rub it out or do some other type of movement to try to loosen things up. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Again, it's nice to have different tools you can work with, either standing or sitting or whatever position you're in. And I'll keep trying to come up with things I can give you for that purpose. Hopefully this has been helpful. And you can always just get in touch with me and let me know any questions or comments you have. All right, well, have fun with that, and I will see you next time. Thank you.